Hey friends, it's Coach Josh here, and I am slightly visible in this live video I'm shooting. I had a really cool conversation yesterday with a client of mine who is in really good shape, and he wants to build some muscle and not add a lot of fat. In fact, he wants to even lean out further, which is a really great goal. And it brings up an interesting use case for a reverse diet. But let's talk a little bit about what where this athlete is at and how they fit into a overall nutrition and training plan in relative to the other parts of the population. So here I've got a diagram of uh, sort of a summary of where most athletes are at or humans are at here in America in terms of their fitness. We have fat on the bottom and muscle on the, fat on the x-axis, the y-axis. We have muscle, and as you can see, we've got low muscle, low fat, low muscle, high fat, high muscle, low fat, and high muscle, high fat. And the archetypes of those are, high muscle, low fat, the trained athlete, somebody who's got a lot of nutrition and training experience in lived experience, meaning they've been on program for multiple years. Usually that person's going to be in pretty good shape. Low muscle, low fat. This is somebody who's skinny fat. I call them AKA the soccer moms, where they really watch what they eat or they don't have a lot of food drive, but they're also because of that they're having a hard time putting on muscle, and they end up being this sort of skinny fat, this low metabolism space, low energy. Then we have low muscle, high fat, which is a sedentary person, a workaholic, somebody who works a tech job, somebody who's very busy and too busy to exercise or eat right. And then high fat, high muscle, and this is if this is the soccer mom, this is the soccer mom's husband who likes to go to the gym every day but doesn't have a disciplined nutrition plan to go with that. So they end up gaining both muscle and fat and not feeling good. They got that spare tire around the midsection. So today we're talking about the high muscle, low fat person. So the trained athlete. In this case, we have a very elite level athlete. The person I'm talking to is 81 years old and has been on program for more than 5 decades, meaning they've been working out and eating well consistently for more than 50 years. So he's 81, roughly 12% body fat, give or take a half a percent. Is extremely lean, extremely strong. So this person has, maybe low to medium food drive, meaning that not a huge appetite. And many of us, as we age, we lose our appetite for or craving for fatty or sugary foods, or maybe just eating food in general. I know when I was 20 years old, an 18-ounce steak sounded like a great meal for me. And today, that would be two, maybe even three meals, just because I eat many smaller meals now and I don't have the desire for all that salt and fat all at once. So, this athlete that we're talking about, they're already lean. They want to build a couple pounds of muscle and want to stay as lean as they can be in the process. So, how do you treat this person? Well, we have some heuristics based on exercise nutrition tables, activity level, and calories per pound of body weight. So, behind me, I've got this chart, and this chart, it's low calorie to high calorie, low body weight to high body weight. So, this person technically wants to gain weight in the form of muscle, right? So wants to gain a few pounds, maybe lose a pound or two of fat, but really we're talking about additional muscle. That means additional training volume and additional calories. That's how you build muscle. Now, I happen to be working with this person for a while, so I know that their training volume is actually already really high, and it's going higher because recently we've gotten personal records. We've improved our training efficiency. We've actually developed more power. So performance is improving. Muscle, however, is not increasing. Now, what does that mean? That means that this person is getting stronger, but they're not building muscle volume. So their gains are through neurological gains almost exclusively, meaning the skill at using the muscle, motor neurons firing and um, firing simultaneously. So their neurological capacity is improving. Their metabolic capacity or muscle isn't building up. So that means that we don't have enough calories to support the muscle that we're trying to build. In fact, we may lose muscle with the increased energy expenditure because muscle is a very greedy metabolic system. Muscle takes energy to maintain, and it takes energy to build. So you have to have a calorie surplus in order to get more muscle. So if a low calorie diet is 10 times your body weight um, in calories, so if you weigh 150, that's 1,500 calories. And a high calorie diet is 19 or 20 times your body weight in calories. So if you weigh 150, that'd be 3,000. The way to break this plateau, if I'm trying to gain muscle and if I'm trying to gain muscle over the course of my program, what I want to do is I want to step up my calorie intake slowly and measure consistently. I prefer two measurements per week on a scale, or if you have a bioimpedance asset where you can get a really good sense of your amount of muscle and fat, that's wonderful too. But a scale works just fine because if you're gaining weight but you're not gaining visible, visceral fats, you can use a tape measure to check that out as well. If you're gaining weight but you're not gaining fat, then you know that you're building muscle, and you're also seeing improvements in your training program and your other metrics that you're tracking. So right now he's in a low calorie diet. He's around 12 to 13 times his body weight. I would slowly step up this athlete to 14 times, 15 times, 16 times. And in this middle of the road region, if you're 16 times your body weight in calories, you're going to start to see a little bit of recomposition over time. Now, the the magic number is how many calories should I be eating? And that's a great question to ask. And what I would say is as many calories as it takes to gain muscle. So for some of us, that might be 15 times our body weight in calories. For some of us, it might be 17 times our body weight in calories. And the only way to know is to test and to do it for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Look at your data points and see what is occurring in your body before you make the decision to move out or move up. Now, let's say that we get up to 17, 18, 19, and you're gaining muscle, but you're also gaining fat. What do you do? Well, I myself am an active enough person that I find it very easy to burn body fat over time, but very difficult to build muscle. So if I'm gaining muscle and I'm gaining fat, I know I can make micro adjustments down in calories later on to shed that body weight, and but I know it'll be difficult for me to keep that or to add that muscle because I have a low food drive and it's difficult for me to maintain a high amount of calories for a long period of time. So for me, I'm going to err on the side of adding muscle and fat because I know it'll be easy for me to lean out a little bit later. But if you're watching this video and you're somebody who has a hard time losing weight, losing body fat, and an easier time gaining weight, then you might want to be a little bit more conservative when you're making your adjustments. And I'm taking people through this program, the reverse diet. So we're instead of subtracting calories and coming down, we're adding up. So I'm using this process, the reverse diet process, on a group of people starting at the end of the month. And if you're interested in that, I'll send you the information. But it's 21 days. It's free. We go into much greater detail on mechanistic eating, how to schedule your food and what foods to eat to make sure that you are getting exactly where you want to go with your health and fitness program. But I thought this was a great time to share the process, getting really inside the weeds for somebody who's already in good shape. How do you get them in better shape? And I like to do that through the reverse diet, slow and steady over the course of weeks and months, making these adjustments to help that person who may have a high desire to train but a low food drive get to where they want to go. So that's uh, that's my PSA for today. I hope you found this valuable and look forward to chatting with you about your health and fitness goals very soon.